Oh man, I get it. I get it. I know exactly where you're at. You woke up this morning and you still had to do all the shit you had to do, despite the fact that someone was a winner and someone was a loser yesterday. Donald Trump got convicted on all 34 counts. I'm saying to myself, wow, wow, there you go. I guess he's not above the law. I guess there are people who actually think he's as crazy as I do. And of course, I don't want to make enemies. Not going to make enemies with that. I'm here. I'm a neutral. I'm here. I mean, Biden's just as bad. There's a lot of processes in our world that are kind of jacking us over, right? We produce, we pay taxes, we contribute our time and our effort into these endeavors, and as a result, if we're lucky and we're standing in the right spot, in the right place, they shower down a few crumbs. Want to talk about something? Let's talk about how much time we spend engaged in things that have absolutely nothing to do with us. And the question, why would that be? Why is that your business? They're like, well, what the hell? That ain't your business anyway. Well, no, it's not. I just figure I'm one guy and I have an opportunity here. Maybe between you and me, hey, we could possibly like change something. Maybe make it easier for you. I know what it'd be like to wake up in the morning and instead of feeling like you did this morning, that you wake up in the morning and you're actually excited. You got a good night's sleep because you're not worried about shit. Because you realize, well, according to all the things that the Bible says and that I'm supposed to be doing, I kind of have to believe that it's going to be okay one way or the other. And of course, whether it is or not, I mean, so what? It's do what you can do to make it feel good, right? What would happen? What do you suppose would happen if instead of taking the crumbs that the world hands you, standing around and supporting this cause and that cause, and taking those little bitty crumbs from those efforts and all that time, that you turned all that into you? You decided, you know what, I'm going to support somebody. I think I'm going to support me. I'm going to support my ass. Yeah. Imagine, can you just, hold on, whoa, stay in your seat. Can you imagine how friggin' cool it would be to be able to pick anything, to say, you know, I don't mind working. I'm a hard worker. I really want to be close to the ocean, though. You know how cool it would be to actually wake up and actually realize that's what's going to happen? Stop picking up crumbs. Let's go after the big stuff when we come back. Big promises, right? Big promises. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. How do you suppose that happens, and what's the difference between people who are able to make it happen and people who can't? What is the number one big difference? Because there has to be a difference. And of course, the one obvious one is, well, you know, I wasn't born Donald Trump Jr. I wasn't born into the Trump empire or the Colgate empire or whatever empires there are out there. There are empires out there. There are people who have so much money and stacks and stacks and stacks and have their money diverse in so many things that they forget about where their money comes from, right? I wonder if, no, maybe not. Yeah, I wonder if Donald Trump has that problem. I think it feels to be him. On a personal note, I mean, it's easy to not to like the guy. Okay, come on, he's not that likable, and of course, I certainly wouldn't want him to like be the one that wants to date my daughter. I want him to prom date. Can you imagine how arrogant he would be? You know, not the kind of person you. Not. I mean, do you think he ever lies? Even if he doesn't, let's just look at how he treats his friends. On a personal note, forget about all of his shortcomings and what his status is. Just think about how he treats the people around him. He's got this beautiful wife, right? She's beautiful, and not a hair out of place. Have you looked at her? Have you looked at her? Just look at how her face is. Concerned, just. Man, that's a heavy price to pay for that wonderful life. That's a heavy price to pay. Fame is crazy. I mean, there's no doubt. People know his name. There's no doubt about that. But would you really want to be him? I mean, and of course, the other question is just like Biden. Biden's got his own flaws. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm going to kick some ass on Biden too, on Grandpa Joe. And why would I do that? Well, it's because where we're losing track, where we're getting all caught up in all kinds of bullshit, is it doesn't have anything to do with you or me. You know what has to do with you or me? You and me. People, I don't know, it's hard, it's hard. You do realize that the umbrella of the universe is over all of us, right? Whatever this thing is called, whatever you want to describe this thing at, it is over every one of us. And it's not rocket science. You want to know the deciding factor, the one thing that's going to pull you out of your hole? There's one choice that you could make that will actually elevate you. And next thing you know, you're like, hey, listen, hey, well, man, I can't believe it. We put $1,000. We're putting $1,000 in savings. You know who it is? It's you. It's you. Why do I say that? Well, because I don't drive your ship. You're the only one who can drive your ship. I'm not your navigator. I don't steer the wheel on your ship. You do. You want to wake up energized, excited about how life looks? Stop gathering up crumbs. Go for all of it. Grab it all. But sure, the process, it's a really, really simple process. I think you're going to be surprised. What's stopping you from accomplishing anything you might want to do? Pick it, whatever it is. What is actually in the way between you and getting a better job or earning more money or any ideal that you might have? Maybe spending a week fishing with your dad or going hunting or whatever your thing is. Anything that energizes you, what's stopping you from accomplishing something more than you already have accomplished? It's you. Directly or indirectly, the problem that we face is that we don't spend enough time thinking about what we want to do in order to actually execute. And it has to be pretty interesting because there are a lot of distractions. Let's face it. Part of the reason you don't want to hang out with you is because you're not that friggin' interesting. I mean, what exciting shit are you doing today versus what you're going to see on your phone? There's more exciting crap on a phone in 30 seconds than there is in your life in 30 days. I got up, went to work, came home, drank some beer, went to bed. Got up, went to work, got in a fight with the wife, went to work anyway, came home, helped with the kids a little more, and drank some beer. Weekend, it's Friday, yeah, damn, it's Wednesday, hump day. I can't wait till Friday. Why? Because I'm going to do the same shit I did last Friday. Oh, boy, okay, all right, me too. We live in these amazing lives. I stopped doing social media. I don't do social media because I got crumbs. Look at the amount of content. If you want to look up Chris Jaquez, you want to look up Your Best Life Defined, you want to look up the RV Survival Guy, you want to look me up on social media on any platform, you're going to see a lot of me. Why? Well, because it feels good. This is one of those things I'm doing, right? I get excited about it. I'm energized about it. It gives me a way to vent. There's no doubt about it. With all the crazy ass stuff everyone else has said, I don't see any reason why I shouldn't just jump in the mix. And what's the worst that could happen? I could actually be right? I don't know. Let me ask you this. Am I right? Probably so. Let me think here. Let's see. You're not doing most of the stuff you love to do anymore. You wake up tired. You spend a lot of time looking at other people's lives. You do that, I know. And social media, yeah, that's pretty important to you. And you're definitely not being your best self, and you're probably not being your best self for your partner either. And of course, they're meeting you at that line, right? That half-ass out of energy. You want to put some energy in your tank, and that's where it starts. You need to get some energy in your tank. How do you suppose you do that? You're in a relationship. She still looks pretty good. It's not quite as wonderful as it once was, but it's still pretty good. How do you suppose you do that? How do you suppose you get that fire cooking? Same way everything else. Just do it. Let's take you through it when we come back. So let's just imagine. Let's just set the mood right. Imagine when you first got together. Imagine when you were first together and you were just all kissy and all over each other and just and then you got married and and then you had the kids and it was so wonderful. And 2 years in, it was still pretty good, but not as good. And the kids are growing up, and now you had another baby. And you got more work, and now you're kind of where you hit that balance at some point where you make as much money as you earn, or you spend as much money as you make, and you're just kind of sitting on an island of debt right there, just hanging out, waiting for the debt to clear. That's a crumbs. I mean, look at all the work you do and all the immense joy that you derive from every moment. Being a little sarcastic, but it's true. I mean, think about it. How much actual time do you spend all just excited about where you are and what you're doing as a result of the things that you have in your life? No, you got one. Oh, you got to get this done. Oh, crap! You get halfway home, or you get all the way home, and then you realize I don't have beer in the fridge. Damn! I got to go back out, load the kids back up. Get home. She gets home. So who's cooking supper? Who's cleaning up? Help me with the kids. Let's get the bath. Oh, it's an amazing adventure. But it's crumbs compared to what you could be doing. How do you do that? Well, you got to make it fit. People who have success in their lives and have energy and seem to be always moving and growing and doing different things are people who are connected to who they are and actually mold their life and their choices around that. If you're not rocking and rolling, if you don't have the money you need in the bank, if you don't have the relationship you want in your life, then the question is, why not? And it's because you're not doing what that takes to get there. And the reason you're not doing it is because you're not looking at that. You're doing it just like everyone else. You're getting up in the morning, going to work. You know you have a mortgage. You have this house. You feel some stability. Feel safe. Why would you feel safe? You see what the wind's doing to property right now. If I was you, I don't know if I'd buy in an area where the wind blows hard. And from the looks of things, I don't know. Maybe you've been seeing something different than I have, but I'm thinking the friggin' wind's been blowing pretty hard. But like good little ants, well, let's do what we've always done. We have to do what we've always done. I got a theory talking about how this whole system has been cultivated. I mean, I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I wouldn't go that far to say. I think maybe it's organic, but it's kind of suspicious, right? But think about this. So there was a time when there was a lot of land between us, and we farmed, and we made our own vegetables and our produce, and we traded and sold that produce, and we made money. And then what happened? Someone came in and said, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we sell that land, and we'll move all kinds of people in, and they can work industry. So that's what they did. So where did the lawn on this whole thing come in? Where did that lawn thing come in? Well, in my opinion, that's a transitional move. These people have been growing stuff for a long time. They're farmers, right? All right. So where did the lawn come in? Well, it gave developers an opportunity to give farmers the chance to grow something in the convenience of a community that they can go in debt to live in. Farmers didn't have a lot, but one of the things they surely didn't have was debt. They had some. Some farmers had debt, but you suppose? All my life I've thought about it. All my life this thing keeps knocking on my head going, there was something wrong. Even as a young kid, I kept looking around at everybody else, really suspicious. I'm like, why is everybody doing the same thing? And not only that, but why are they all pissed off about it? Why are they so mad about it? And I know about mad. I do. I promise I do. My stepdad, he was friggin' mad. He's crazy as hell. His name was Dick. Richard, they called him Dick. He liked that. He liked that name, and he lived up to every friggin' bit of it. Every bit of it. That's who he was. He was the persona of Dick. And what do you do about that? You learn from it. You grow from it. You decide not to do that, not to be that. You decide not to be angry. You want to know something? I know about that too. And how do you change it? You start getting a better idea. What amazing thing could you do right now in your relationship to make it better? What amazing thing could you do in your relationship to make it better? Think about it. Spend some time thinking about it. Stop supporting. Why waste your time supporting Donald Trump? He's not going to fix your supper. He's not going to help you when you're older. He's not going to take care of you. He don't give two shits about you. He's crumbs, bro. I got million. I eat with millionaires, brother. You ain't got no time for your little piddly ass. And of course, what we get into this idea that we're somewhere better than everyone else because we have a few more dollars than them. And the truth is, you don't. One win, one lawsuit, one catastrophe, and it's all wiped out. Just one rock fall on you, and none of it matters anymore. You're not that powerful. Thinking about it. Let's start thinking about you. Let's start thinking about you instead of picking up crumbs. Let's grab every bit of it. Let's grab a grocery bag of it. Talking about the good stuff. Time to start doing the good stuff. Starts with you. All right, so let's just hypothetically jump into the idea that you kind of entertaining this. You're thinking, yeah, I could do it. I could probably consider finding some way to make my life better. What do you suppose you would choose? What would be a good choice for you? And the answer would be probably something to do with the person you share your life with. I mean, think about it. How cool would it be if you came home from work and she's smiling and she's like, and you're smiling and you're talking like you used to talk back when you were, where you were young and there wasn't all that bullshit between you and you had been fighting and all that. No, back in the good old days. How do you suppose you had to get that to happen? Think about it. Think about it. That's what you do. You'd think about it. You find a way to remind yourself that that's your goal. That's your new agenda. That's the thing you want to achieve in your life. And guess what's going to happen as a result of that? You spend enough time thinking about how to make her happy. You're going to find some ways to make that woman happy, to make that man happy. And when they're happy, guess what? You're going to be happy. And why is that important? How much easier it is to do stuff and get things accomplished when you have someone who trusts you and can rely on you and counts on you and believes in you and supports you. If there was ever any place in the world you want to change your life, it's your relationship. What would that look like, hypothetically? Well, just start being a better person for you and your interactions. Be a little nicer. If you're not doing anything for your wife, that's probably not a good sign. If you're not getting up off the table and going ahead and getting the dishes cleared away without being asked, or you don't go out there, she has to remind you every week like you're still 14. Hey, you need to mow the lawn today, son. I don't know if that's the mantra or the standard that I would set for myself. Come on, you go to work every day. We go to work every day. Come on, quit picking up crumbs. You know how much better your life would be. You know how much more inspiring and energizing your relationship would be if you just kind of tricked them into liking you again. And how do you do that? Well, you do it by doing what you did the first time. Right? Just look at her. Look at him. Yeah, he's fatter and he's kind of a pain in the ass, but he's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, you still like his laugh, right? And even though he's a dork and he's getting older, it's like, God. There's so much fun in that, and there's so much memory in that. And the ticket is to be able to say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I noticed something. And what's funny is your partner will give you cues. You're not in the blind on this. It's not like you're just trying to figure the world out like a newborn baby. You look at your partner and you say something. You can say, if you're paying attention to your partner, you can see when they're broken, when the conversation was uncomfortable and they felt bad as a result. And you want to know the cool part? The cool part is when you actually show back up afterward and say, hey, listen, I was thinking about that conversation. I seen that it kind of upset you and it made you uncomfortable. That wasn't my intention. It was just a conversation because I like talking to you. I don't know if you can get any more genuine than that, but I mean, that's what this is about, right? And of course, the other idea we're talking about picking up crumbs and the experience that life gives us. Let's just talk about what you're getting for what you're doing now. All right, you're already engaged in whatever exchange you have with the person you love, right? You do it every day. Either you're grumpy or whatever that exchange is. All you have to do is change the dynamic on that. I think I'm going to choose nice now. I'm going to freak her ass out. Really? How? Yeah, I'm just going to start being nice to her. When she says, I'm like, oh, yeah, I got that. And you know, the cool part about it is it becomes a sort of comfort. There's a sense of kindness that when you were first dating and they didn't know that you was a butthead. When you first got together and they're like, oh no, he's cool, right? Before that, how that feeling was just to be around him, listen to him talk, to giggle and laugh, and just want to do things together and have fun together, right? You get the picture. Why not? Stop settling for crumbs. Stop settling for crumbs we need to stop settling for crumbs with our politicians. Those men up there aren't worthy of our time. They're really not. Vote. Keep it to yourself, because the last thing you need to do is make enemies of the guy who's going to come and save your ass when the wind comes and blows your house down. I promise that. I guarantee that. Not going to do you any good to be mean mugging somebody. In fact, what'll do you good is when you stand in line at the grocery store for you to say, hey, how you doing? My name's Chris. Where are you from? Have a conversation with that person, and guess what you're going to find out? Like almost everyone else in that store, they're just like you. They're just Americans waking up every day, wondering why things are, wishing their representatives would do their job. Want to talk about some politics? Want to get into a conversation that involves true change at the national level? Let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm ready. All right, let's talk about employees. And then some people say, well, this isn't your best life defined. Well, it kind of is, because it follows the same line as everything else I've said thus far. It follows the idea that when we take a look at anything, any entity, any structure, and we look at it, the best thing for us to do is look at it from our own perspective, from the standpoint of, how can I use this to make my life better? That's why there's nothing more powerful that will demonstrate that than when you vote, when you decide to put someone in charge of our country, our lives. Right? Think about the conduct of every politician you've ever seen, every politician you've ever heard talk. They always have a great story, have things that we can identify with, abortion and the border and all these ideas. But where we run into problems is when we realize that they don't even work for us. Talk about making your life better, and then you're over there ranting and raving about whether Donald Trump's a crook or not. You know he's a crook. He's a politician. That man craves power. He wants to be the boss of the world. I bet he was a brat. I bet he was a pain in the ass. I bet he was the kind of guy you'd kick the shit out of in the school. Like, shut up. I mean, let's face it. Right? And everybody's going, Now, Joe Biden, he's probably a little nicer. He's not a bull by no means. He's not the kind of guy that wants to stand up to you and push you around and be shitty to you. But on the other hand, he has his old sneaky way. I can imagine Joe's got a snide, screw you look. And when it comes out, people, oh my God, there's his screw you look. Oh my God. Got his own hand in all the pots. That's why he's being so quiet right now. That's why no one's talking on that side, because the bottom line is, what would happen if you had told Donald Trump, told all of them, in fact, told all these CEOs, hey, let's go ahead and see your tax returns. Let's see what you did to the American people. Let's see what you did, because the bottom line is you're supposed to pay taxes. And of course, maybe not. And what do we do about it? Nothing. What could we do about it? We could decide to change the standard for politicians. Because I guarantee you, in my opinion, I used to employ people. I actually supervised people for most of my career, and I understand what a good employee is. A good employee is someone who steps up every day and does what they're supposed to do. You can count on them. They show up on time. They make things happen according to what you need. Looks to me like we have a whole government full of employees who ain't getting shit done, especially at the top. Let me back up. They aren't getting anything done for us. They're throwing crumbs out the window as they pass by. They're doing favors for big, much more important people than us. I'd fire every one of them. Fire them. I changed the system, because what's happened is, all those noisy people who suddenly got elected, all those young people who got elected, did you notice something? Shh. Can't hear any of them. Why? Well, once they got in, they go, hey, shut up. Don't be making no noise. You're going to make a lot of money. Just do enough to get elected again. Man, this is a good gig. You get free insurance. You get money for the rest of your life. You get connections and investments. And, man, I'll tell you what, you just hang with me. Don't worry about those people you represent. They don't matter anyway. We work for the big companies. We work for the people with money. No way. Couldn't be so. Could it? Couldn't be so. I don't know. I think it's so. I think it's up to us to change it. And the first thing we need to do is stop fighting amongst ourselves. I'm just like you. I promise that. Let's keep this thing moving. Let's talk about some other crumbs you've been collecting up when we come back. You want to talk about taking crumbs, right? You get your crumbs, right? Let's talk about it. We are the essence of power, and the power comes within ourselves. It comes within our choices. And when we manage ourselves better than anything else, the world isn't shit. I mean, it really isn't. When you know who you are, what your capabilities are, you develop the ability to produce and to continually adapt to what's around you. The universe around you becomes inconsequential. Now, then, of course, all things are relative and within reason. So let's just think about this for a minute. If we wanted to impact change in any environment, let's say the corporate America, the way we would do that is we would simply say, you know what? One of the things I'm going to think about every day is not letting corporations take advantage of me. And how do you suppose you would do that? Well, in my case, I'm kind of irritated by the shrinkage. You know, you get a box of crackers, you open it up, and the sleeves are about half the size of the box. But I don't know, maybe not a false advertising thing, but sure as hell looks like one. What could a guy like me do about that? That shrunken candy bar, you know, that bag of chips. Actually, it was one big chip, and they just smashed it. Now it's a bag of chips. You know, that's what you're getting. What do you suppose you could do about that? Well, if you spend enough time thinking about it and examining how many corporations you do it, then you can take a look at the things that you realize, that ain't worth it. I don't buy candy bars anymore. I don't buy sodas off the rack walking out the door. Why? Why would I? I can go to the back and I can buy a whole six-pack for almost the same price, and I can take it home, put it in the fridge, or drink it hot, one of the two, or pull it out of the cooler. But the point is, if the price gets so high, I don't buy case sodas anymore. I'm not paying $8 for a case of soda. I don't need it. We have water. And I have to buy that anyway. Water quality, they figured out, hey, listen, we really don't have to treat the water as good as we used to. Everybody just go to bottled water. They just buy it. That's what they do. Just organic, or maybe it's a scam. Yeah, you don't have to. So water treatment plants actually buy into water bottling plants, or water treatment plants turn into water bottling plants. They bottle the same water that's coming out of your tap, but they sell it to you instead of give it to you. I mean, they sell it to you in bottles instead of from the tap. We're like, well, I'm not, and we think we are, but we're really not. And of course, talk about corporate accountability. I got a half a box of crackers. It looked like they were selling me a box. And you know what was funny? When I came out of that store, the cracker police didn't show up. Well, they were nowhere around. I looked around. I'm like, come on, man. They just robbed me. I got home. I'm standing at the counter. I'm looking at the phone. I'm thinking, should I dial 911? Right? Cracker police didn't come. Shit. And of course, that comes down to a whole other issue that's keeping us from where we need to be, and that's our ability just to stay in our own lane. I mean, think about it. How much time have you spent with your nose in somebody else's business, looking at their life, having a conversation about them, which might be warranted if, in fact, you've actually got your own ducks in a row. If you and your husband, your partner, your wife, whatever your life looks like, if everything's in order, you come home, you got a lot of free time to think, or your time is the time you spend is generating energy for you, and then you decide, well, hey, listen, I think I'm going to help Chris. I mean, that's perfect. That is a perfect plan. What do you suppose the problem is with that? What do you think the problem is with that whole idea? And it comes down to this. It's really simple. The reason you're probably not in that position, the reason you don't have as much money as you need, the reason your relationship isn't where you want it to be isn't because it can be. It's just because you haven't started grabbing up the big pieces. You got to create something before you can eat it. All right, we're almost done with this bad boy. Let's go ahead and break into the 3 steps for success. It's not really difficult. In fact, the funny part about this conversation, I want you to pay attention to this, because the funny part about this conversation is you already do exactly what I'm talking about. You accomplish it every day. You do it every day. Every big decision, every decision you make is a process in some form. It replicates what we're going to talk about. So skip all that. Well, I don't know how. Skip all that crybaby stuff. Let's get into this thing. Think about anything you've ever done in your life. Let's just pick the house or the car. You got a car. How did you go about achieving that goal? Getting that car. You have that car. Now it's your car and you pay payments on it. It's in your driveway and you pay insurance on it and you put gas in it and you drive it. How did you come about that situation to where that has actually happened in your life? Like, oh, that's a dumbass question. Everybody knows how you buy a car. Not exactly. You thought about it, didn't you? At some point in your life, you decided, I think I need a car. I think I need a car because I got a job, and I don't have any money, but I guess I could just borrow the money. That's one of the things. It just seemed to be okay to do. Everybody's doing it. So you got that idea and started working that idea forward. Next thing you know, guess what happened? You start getting excited. You're like, hey, maybe we should go look at cars. Oh, yeah. What do you think? Oh, yeah, hell, let's go look at cars. And that was where you did. And you headed off and you looked at cars. The more you looked at cars, the more excited you got and the more real that thing became. Next thing you know, guess what? Come on, you know how the story ends. You got a car. Now, what would happen if you were to apply that same concept to something you haven't ever experienced before? Because you've got a lot of experience with buying shit, with getting shit, right? You got a lot of experience with that, so we don't even need to mess with that. What would happen if you pick something bigger than that you don't have any practical experience with at all? What do you think would happen? Let's see, you think about it. I'm not making enough money. What things would I like to do as a career? I probably would like to be a nurse. Really? How would I do that? And you spend every day thinking about how to become a nurse. And pretty soon the pieces of the puzzle start coming together because you do have that supercomputer, right? You have that phone, that thing that you waste all that time on. You could actually turn that supercomputer on and actually use it for what it can do for you. AI, hey, listen, I need to know places and schedule dates and registration times for nursing school or for prereq or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Typing it, oh my God, look at that right there. Yeah. Can you freaking believe it? No, it can't be that easy. And before you know it, you're there. Before you know it, you can see it, but you have to create that image, because if you don't have that incentive, that image, that idea, that connection with how amazing it's going to be to make, I don't know, $35, $40, $50, $70 an hour. I can kind of imagine it. I'm where I am because of it. I like what I do, and I like being good at what I do, and I like more than that, I like even when I'm not good at it, I like doing it because of what it does for me. There is the ticket right there. Are you ready to go? I'm not stopping. I'm not going anywhere. I'm doing this as much for me as I am for you. Stop working for crumbs. Stop gathering up crumbs. Stop gathering up other people's crumbs. Whatever Donald Trump does, he does. You need to take care of you. You need to get your house in order. All right. Hey, guys, well, guess what? I did it. One more in the books. I'm laughing with my son-in-law last night at dinner. We're talking about all this noise that I keep making, all this stuff I keep doing, and he's kind of thinking it's funny because I told him, well, I'm just going to keep producing this stuff at an unparalleled rate. Doesn't even matter what the world thinks of it. Because, until things are great, they're not, and that's just the way it is. You don't have to accept any of it, because the bottom line is I still get mine out of it, right? My train ain't off the tracks. I ain't out running about here buying a bunch of crap I don't need. I'm waking up every day, and when I wake up, I'm excited about what I get to do. All important points as to why maybe you might just consider doing it for yourself. Starts with you. You got to pick it. Got to get excited about it. Got to tell a story about it. Got to talk about it. Got to share it with your partner. Talk about how great it's going to be. Build up an idea in your head you can't let go, and before you know it, you're going to be exactly where I am. If I could do it for you, I would. I can't, so I won't. Blessings to you, blessings to your family. Until next time, Don't forget to share, like, and talk about it. Figure it out. Not for me, but for you. My name is Chris Jaquez, and this is Your Best Life Defined. Have a wonderful day.